Corporate fraud, a silent predator, poses a significant threat to the global economy. Its impact erodes investor confidence and causes substantial financial losses. No organization is immune to the consequences of fraudulent activities. This essay examines organizational fraud, its forms, and prevention measures. Understanding corporate fraud is crucial in combating this issue. Fraud manifests in various forms, each with unique implications. Recognizing different types of fraud helps businesses implement preventative measures. Fraud often results from a combination of factors. The fraud triangle provides insights into conditions preceding fraud. Understanding pressure, opportunity, and rationalization helps address vulnerabilities. Preventing fraud requires robust controls, ethics, and vigilance. This essay aims to equip businesses with tools to mitigate fraud risks. Fostering transparency and ethical conduct helps prevent fraud, safeguarding assets and reputation. Corporate fraud can manifest in various forms, each posing unique threats to an organization's financial health and reputation. Three of the most prevalent types of organizational fraud include financial statement fraud, asset misappropriation, and corruption. Financial statement fraud involves the intentional misrepresentation of financial information, typically to deceive investors and creditors. This type of fraud often involves manipulating accounting records, omitting or misclassifying transactions, or engaging in fictitious revenue recognition. Asset misappropriation, on the other hand, involves the theft or misuse of an organization's assets by employees or individuals in a position of trust. This can range from stealing cash or inventory to using company credit cards for personal expenses or exploiting company resources for personal gain. Corruption, the third major category of corporate fraud, encompasses dishonest or fraudulent conduct by individuals in positions of power, often involving bribery, extortion, or conflicts of interest. This type of fraud not only undermines fair competition but also erodes public trust in institutions. Understanding the characteristics of each type of fraud is crucial for organizations to implement effective internal controls and risk management strategies. By recognizing the red flags associated with each category, businesses can enhance their fraud detection mechanisms and respond swiftly to potential threats. The fraud triangle, developed by criminologist Donald Cressy, explains the conditions that lead to fraud: pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. Pressure involves financial or non-financial incentives. Opportunity arises from weak internal controls. Rationalization is how individuals justify their actions. Understanding this model helps organizations prevent and detect fraud. By addressing each element, businesses can foster a culture of ethics and compliance. Recent high-profile fraud cases have underscored the critical role of auditors in detecting and preventing corporate misconduct. The collapse of Enron, WorldCom, and other corporate giants exposed significant weaknesses in corporate governance and financial reporting, highlighting the need for enhanced auditor scrutiny and independence. The third COSO report, released in response to these scandals, emphasized the importance of a robust internal control environment, including a strong ethical culture, effective risk assessment procedures, and reliable monitoring activities. The report also stressed the need for auditors to adopt a more skeptical and proactive approach to fraud detection, going beyond merely relying on management representations. These insights have significant implications for auditors, requiring them to enhance their professional skepticism, improve their understanding of fraud risks, and develop more effective fraud detection techniques. Auditors must be prepared to challenge management assertions, scrutinize complex transactions, and utilize data analytics to identify anomalies that may indicate fraudulent activity. Section 5. The Auditor's Mandate, Responsibilities and Expectations. Auditors play a vital role in maintaining the integrity of financial reporting and providing assurance to users of financial statements. Investors, creditors, regulators, and other stakeholders rely on auditors to provide an independent and objective assessment of an organization's financial position and performance. Users of financial statements expect auditors to exercise professional skepticism, which involves questioning management assertions, critically evaluating evidence, and considering the potential for fraud. Auditors are expected to design and perform audit procedures to obtain reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatement, whether caused by error or fraud. While auditors are not expected to be fraud investigators, they have a responsibility to obtain reasonable assurance that material fraud is detected. This involves understanding the entity and its environment, identifying and assessing the risks of material misstatement due to fraud, and responding appropriately to those risks. In addition to detecting fraud, auditors also have a responsibility to report their findings to the appropriate level of management and, in some cases, to regulatory authorities. Effective communication of fraud risks and suspected fraud is crucial for organizations to take timely and appropriate remedial action. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, or SOX, was landmark legislation enacted in response to the wave of corporate scandals that rocked the United States in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The law aimed to restore investor confidence by strengthening corporate governance, enhancing financial disclosures, and holding corporate executives accountable for financial reporting. SOX introduced significant reforms, including the establishment of the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, or PCAOB, to oversee the audits of public companies. It also enhanced auditor independence by restricting non-audit services that audit firms can provide to their audit clients. Furthermore, it required corporate executives to personally certify the accuracy of financial statements. The Act also mandated stricter internal control requirements for public companies, requiring them to establish and maintain internal controls over financial reporting and to have their internal control effectiveness audited annually. SOX also enhanced whistleblower protections, encouraging employees to report suspected fraud without fear of retaliation. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act has played a crucial role in improving corporate governance and financial reporting practices, restoring investor confidence and reducing the incidence of corporate fraud. Its provisions continue to shape the regulatory landscape for public companies and serve as a model for corporate governance reforms worldwide. Corporate governance encompasses the systems, processes, and structures that organizations implement to ensure ethical conduct, transparency, and accountability. It provides a framework for decision-making, risk management, and performance monitoring, promoting the long-term sustainability of the organization. Effective corporate governance is essential for preventing and detecting fraud. By establishing a culture of ethics and compliance, organizations can foster an environment where fraudulent activities are less likely to occur. Robust internal controls, a key component of corporate governance, provide reasonable assurance that transactions are authorized, assets are safeguarded, and financial reporting is reliable. Strong corporate governance also emphasizes the importance of board oversight. A competent and independent board of directors plays a vital role in setting the ethical tone at the top, overseeing management's actions and ensuring that adequate internal controls are in place. The board also has a responsibility to establish clear lines of communication and to promote a culture where employees feel comfortable reporting suspected wrongdoing. Effective corporate governance requires active participation from stakeholders, each with specific roles and responsibilities. Key players include the board of directors, management, internal audit, and external auditors. The board sets the strategic direction and oversees management. Management, led by the CEO, handles day-to-day operations. Internal audit ensures effective controls and governance. External auditors provide an objective opinion on financial statements. Corporate fraud poses a significant threat to organizations of all sizes and industries. Preventing and detecting fraud requires a multifaceted approach that encompasses a strong ethical culture, robust internal controls, effective corporate governance, and the vigilance of all stakeholders. By understanding the different types of fraud, the factors that contribute to their occurrence, and the importance of proactive prevention measures, organizations can significantly reduce their risk of falling victim to these harmful activities. The fraud triangle provides a valuable framework for understanding the conditions that often precede fraudulent behavior, emphasizing the need to address pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act, enacted in response to major corporate scandals, introduced significant reforms to enhance corporate governance, strengthen financial reporting, and hold corporate executives accountable. Its provisions continue to shape the regulatory landscape for public companies and serve as a model for corporate governance best practices worldwide. Ultimately, combating corporate fraud is a collective effort. By fostering a culture of ethics and compliance, promoting transparency and accountability, and implementing strong internal controls, organizations can create an environment where fraud is less likely to occur, safeguarding their assets, reputation, and long-term sustainability.